My writing process looks nothing like what you'd find in a craft book. It's circular, a little chaotic, and honestly, for a long time, I was embarrassed by it. This video is me making peace with that, and maybe helping you make peace with yours. If you've watched the other videos in this playlist, you already know that discovery writers who figure out their story through the act of writing it, are in very good company. But knowing that in theory and actually sitting down to write without a plan, those are two very different things. So today I'm going to show you what it actually looks like. My real process. Not the cleaned up, sounds impressive version, the actual one. With the false starts and the walls and the moments where I genuinely wasn't sure the story was going to come together. I'm sharing this because when I was starting out, I needed to see a real process, not a formula, not a method that worked perfectly for somebody else. A messy, human, this is how I actually do it process that made me feel like maybe my process wasn't wrong. Stick around to the end because I've got a quick reflection exercise that will help you figure out where you are in your own story process right now and what that phase actually needs from you. The best way I can describe my writing process is this. I'm laying track. Not planning the railway in advance, not surveying the whole landscape before a single rail goes down. I write until my track runs out, until a wall appears or the excitement drops off, and then I stop. I sit with my story, I get new insights, and then I start laying track again. Often from the very beginning, but this time I get a little further than last time. Is it efficient? No, absolutely not. Is it occasionally maddening? Yeah. But every time I circle back, the story gets richer. And by the time I have something that resembles a full draft, I've got a deeply human story that I actually believe in because I've been inside it so long that I truly understand it. Here's how that actually breaks down. We have phase 1. Questions and play. This is my favorite phase, and it's where every story starts for me. Usually with a what if. What if a guild of concubines was secretly running the government? What if a mermaid and a pirate fell in love? What if magic had a price that nobody talked about out loud? I sit with that question, I daydream, and then I write whatever scene is already alive in my brain. Not chapter 1, not the logical starting point, just the scene that I can't stop thinking about. For me, that's usually dialogue. I love some witty banter. Two characters who clearly have a history and I don't know what it even is yet. Then I start asking questions. Who are these people? Where are they? What does this world want from them? I do this part by hand with pen and paper, margins, sideways writing, little drawings. I don't want to be boxed in by a digital document. I want to sprawl out on the page. This phase is exciting. It's a little unhinged in the best possible way because it's just pure exploration. And if you're a discovery writer, this is probably where you feel the most alive. Then we have phase 2. This is nose to the grindstone. At some point, the initial flood of ideas starts to slow down. The shiny new idea energy starts to fade, and then you have a choice. Quit and go find a new shiny idea, which is extremely tempting, or commit to this one and dig in. Phase 2 is all about commitment. It's not glamorous. Frankly, it's not even fun a lot of the time, but it's about showing up even when the words feel hard won, writing towards the story you can only partially see, trusting that forward motion matters even when it doesn't feel inspired. This phase is genuinely a slog sometimes. I'm not going to dress it up, but it's also where the story starts to feel real. And this is how you go from start to end. Because next we have phase 3, which is problem solving. Eventually, something starts to feel off. Not wrong exactly, just misaligned. Like the story is trying to tell me something that I haven't figured out yet. This is when I take a step back from actively writing and I let my brain work passively. I'll daydream, go for walks, do the dishes, reread a book that I love. Monotonous physical activity is actually surprisingly useful here. Something about keeping your hands busy, letting your subconscious do the actual work. In this phase, I'll revisit the fundamental questions of my story. Who is this character really? Is there enough at stake? Am I headed in the right direction? This is not procrastination. It's a different kind of work. And it almost always ends in a moment of clarity, like an aha moment that makes me want to write again. And finally, we have phase 4, which is repeat. Repeat the process. I lay more track, I hit another wall, and then I circle back again. How many rounds does this take? Genuinely, I am not sure, but each round, I understand my story a little bit better. Each time that I circle back to the beginning, I'm not starting over. I'm just going deeper. The messy truth of discovery writing is that it asks you to trust a process that you can't fully see the end of. That's not a bug in the process. For those of us wired this way, it's the only process that actually works. Here's a quick reflection exercise, and I mean quick, like 2 minutes, no pressure. Ask yourself, where am I right now in my own story? Am I in phase 1? Am I still playing, still in the what if stage, not ready to commit to anything yet? Then give yourself full permission to stay there just a little longer. Follow what excites you. Write the scene that's already in your head. Or are you in phase 2? I know what I'm writing, but I've lost that initial rush and I'm struggling to show up. Then this phase needs one thing, a small, non-negotiable, consistent habit. Not a big session, just enough to keep the track being laid. Or are you in phase 3? Something feels off and I can't figure it out. Stop writing and go for a walk. Seriously, take a break. Give your subconscious time to catch up. Knowing which phase that you're in changes what you need in the moment. And that is more useful than any universal writing advice. It has taken me a long time to figure this out. Now, throughout all 4 of these phases, there's one thing that keeps me from getting completely lost. It's a loose sense of my story's shape. Not an outline, not a scene-by-scene breakdown, just enough skeleton to know in broad strokes where I'm actually going. It took me a long time to figure out what that actually looked like for me as a discovery writer. What was enough without tipping into the kind of planning that kills the story before it starts? Because it's a delicate balance. If you're still trying to figure that out, that's what I've created the course Map Your Romantasy novel for. It's a 7-day course for the sensitive overthinker who's been circling their story idea for way too long. Because writing your book should not feel harder than surviving a Dragon Academy. Am I right? The 7 days, the 5 building blocks of a great romantasy, and a story map that you can actually write from. I've got the link in the description whenever you're ready. Happy writing, my friend.